Gents, have you ever looked in the mirror when you've bought a new suit and you think to yourself, something's not right here, something's off? Well, I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. Today, I want to break down the 5 things that actually make your suit look good, regardless of your budget or your brand. This is something I help my clients with every day as a tailor. My name is Seb, and welcome to Tailor and Talk, where we break down the details that make men's suiting stand out. Whether you're into the history, the fit, or you just want to sharpen your personal image, this is a channel for you. So if that sounds like your kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button, the post notifications bell, and drop a like on the video to support the channel. It would really mean a lot. Let's get into it. The first and most important point is fit is king. A £200 suit that fits well will always beat a £2,000 suit that doesn't fit well. There's a few key areas where if they fit you really well, you'll stand out from the others and you'll look much better. You want to make sure the shoulder of the jacket fits snug to your shoulders. Now, you don't want it to be too tight so that you're getting a dent coming in at the top of your shoulder. That means it's too tight. And you also don't want it to be so big that you can grab a lot of material here around the shoulder area. Ideally, you want about 1 or 2 centimeters of room around the shoulders so that you have freedom of movement. Whether you're attending a wedding and you might be clapping, waving, dancing, picking up a drink, you don't want the shoulder to be too tight that you can't even lift your arm past this point. And again, on the opposite side, if it's far too big, whenever you're bending your arm and moving about, you'll see a big excess bit of fabric that's not moving with the shoulder. A good fitting suit should always move with you. We move on to the chest. If the chest of a jacket is too tight, then you're gonna get all the lines coming across here because it's pulling. It's struggling to fit across your chest. This is especially important for muscular guys that train a lot. You do not want a skinny fit suit that's given all the lines across the chest area here. That's just gonna make your suit look terrible. And again, on the opposite end, if there's too much room in the chest, you'll get a lot of sagging in the jacket and it's not going to complement your shape. For the sleeves of your jacket, ideally, you want to show off 1 to 2 centimeters of shirt cuff whenever your arms are by your side. There's a lot of guys that when they try suit jackets on, they do this and this and this and say, my sleeve's too short. You're not going to be walking down the street like that. Whenever you're standing at your event or your formal or your wedding or in work, very rarely will you be standing like that unless you're clapping your hands or trying to bust a few moves in the office. So arms by the side, if you can see 1 to 2 centimeters of shirt cuff, it's the right length. Sleeves should not be coming down onto the hand. We move on to the length of the suit. Your jacket length is also very important. If you're someone like me that has a long torso, you want to make sure your jacket's not too long to make your legs look short. Classic fit of a suit jacket should cover your bum. In more modern fits, the jacket length at the back comes down just before the end of your butt cheeks. On the front, ideally, you would like the jacket to cover your trouser pockets. Then we move on to the trousers. Please, I don't want to see any skinny trousers that are so tight that you can see all the lining and stitching screaming for mercy for a bit of release. If you are one of these bodybuilder guys that has to wear the tightest suit in the room, I'm afraid to tell you, you look ridiculous, okay? We all know you train. We all know you're jacked. You don't need to show it off in your suit that's almost about to rip off your back, mate. So your trousers on the waist and on your thigh, make sure there's enough room so that when you're seated, it's not pulling too tight on your legs and digging into your stomach. And again, on the opposite end, super flared trousers that are in style at the minute, the oversized look. You have to think to yourself, is this something I'm going to wear all the time? Am I going to need this again in 2 to 3 years? Or do I just want it now to fit into a trend or a fashion? My best advice is go for a tailored look. Not too skinny, not too oversized. Go right in the middle. Something that is classic and will always be in style for years to come. A good fitting suit is an investment into your personal image. So don't be falling for these fads or styles that you see all over the internet that are only going to last a few months and then it's not going to look right and it's going to be out of style and you'll be thinking, I need another suit again. Trouser length. This is one of the most common mistakes I see on men's suits. Please, please, please do not wear trousers that are coming halfway up your calf because you want to show off your ankles. And while we're on showing off your ankles, the loafer with no sock look is dead unless you're in a real hot country, okay? If you're over here in Northern Ireland like me, put on some socks or your shoes. Nobody wants to see your ankles, mate. Back to trouser length. Trouser length, you want the trousers to ideally hit your shoe and have either a no break, a half break, or a full break. I don't want to see 2 or 3 folds at the bottom of your trousers making it look as if they're gathering for a meeting. Either of these 3 options, depending on your own personal style, are acceptable. The second point I want to move on to is proportions matter. This is also something not a lot of guys will take into consideration, especially if you're just going into a high street store where the sales advisors are just looking to hit their targets. They don't really care about how you look, how you feel, how people are going to perceive you when you're wearing your suit. If they make their target for their day, they're happy. They don't care once you walk out that door. So proportions, the first thing I want to talk about is your lapel width, okay? If you're a broad guy, say for example 42 chest and above, please do not wear suits with really skinny lapels, okay? Because you're so broad and having such a skinny lapel, the whole suit's going to look off and you're not going to know why. The suit could fit you right everywhere else, but because your proportions are not balanced to your frame, it's going to make your suit look silly. So if you're a broad guy, make sure your lapel matches in with the width of your body, okay? A good gauge would be about an 8.5 centimeter lapel minimum, especially if you're about a 42 chest upwards. I wear between an 8.5 and 9.5 lapel on all my suits. I like it sometimes bigger, sometimes a little bit on the slimmer side, but no less than 8.5 centimeters whenever I'm wearing a suit. If you're a slim guy, 36, 38 chest, you can get away with the slimmer lapels that are about 7-8 centimeters in width. This is so the proportions of your suit jacket would look balanced, and these are the key subtle areas that'll really elevate your overall look. Your trouser rise, so that's from the waistband down to the crotch, okay? I mentioned earlier about having a longer torso. If you have a longer torso, ideally you'd like to make your legs look longer. You achieve this by having a higher trouser rise and wearing your trousers on your natural waist. A lot of guys do not wear their trousers on their natural waist, okay? Your natural waist usually sits in between the bottom of your ribs and your hip bones. So get the right proportions on your trousers by wearing them on your natural waist if you can. So try and work around your body proportions to make sure your outfit looks good. So get the right rise for the trousers, wear the trousers on your natural waist, and that'll make your legs look longer if you have a longer torso. And that'll make your overall outfit look much better. If you have really long legs, well then you're gifted. You're one of these blessed guys that will just look good in a suit no matter what. Wear the trousers again where it's comfortable. Aim for your natural waist if you can, and you're going to want a shorter rise on your trousers to match in with the proportions of your body. Guys, you don't need to be a model. You just need to find the right balance in your suit. So have a look at your body shape. Do you have longer legs or a longer torso? And use that whenever you're buying your next suit, and take into consideration about wearing your trousers higher if you have a longer body so that you make your legs look longer. And if you have really long legs, then you want to make sure you're not wearing your trousers so high that it looks like you have a really small body as well. So it's finding the right balance. Try on a few different trousers with different rise lengths. That's the waistband or the crotch. See what works better and makes you look better. And then put the blazer on top once you find a nice pair of trousers, and then you'll get the right balance. Point number 3, fabrics. Now, I've had so many people speak to me about the pricing of made-to-measure suits compared to the high street. I'll just tell you very briefly, a lot of your high street brands, even some of your brands that you might think are high-end, use cheap fabric. As well as cheap fabric, they use cheap construction. The construction of a jacket I'll get into in another video, but they glue their suits together, which is why after dry cleaning them a few times, you start to get the bubbling across your jacket because it's too warm and the glue's coming to the surface. A lot of your high street brands will use cheap, man-made materials that are not designed to last, not designed to wear well or move with your body. That is why they shine, wrinkle a lot, and just look terrible after a few wears. The best material for a suit is 100% wool. For so many years, wool has been the go-to fabric for suiting. This is because it's breathable, it can regulate temperature if it's too warm or if it's too cold. The way wool is woven is designed to move with you, be durable, and last you for many years. It is the number one fabric to use for suits. If you're a business guy and you just need suits for work, stick with wool. If you're just wearing something once or twice, then you can venture into other fabrics like linen, velvet, silk, cashmere, and things like that. But if you're just buying one suit, stick with wool. And on the topic of other fabrics, linen is a lightweight summer fabric that is breathable and more comfortable to wear in hotter climates. There's less structure to the linen fabric, which is why it wrinkles so easily. So if you're in a hotter climate, a linen and wool mixed suit could be the perfect option for you if you're just looking for one suit. Flannel is also woven by wool. This is a heavier fabric for the colder winter months. The weight of the fabric is much more than your all year round fabrics. To give you a guide, a perfect all year round fabric of suit for your summer and winter months would be between 270 and 290 grams per square meter. Your flannels will run about 300 plus and can go up to 400 or 500 as well. I'll also touch on velvet. That's a much heavier fabric for suiting. It's less flexible and much more rigid than your wool and linen options. So if you're somebody that gets warm very quick, I wouldn't recommend velvet unless you're only wearing it for a short period of time. Point number 4, it's all in the details. So like I mentioned with proportions, it's all the subtle details matched with good proportions and a good fit and the correct fabric that really elevate your outfit. Another common mistake I see with a lot of guys is the shirt collar that they will wear under their jacket. Now, if you look at my shirt collar, the points of my collar are meeting the lapel. See here? There's no gap between the collar and the jacket lapel. This is such a common mistake I see with guys that wear suits. It may not be something that's very noticeable to the untrained eye, but someone like me would notice that straight away. So whenever you're buying a shirt for your suit, do not buy these high street, small collared shirts that just will not do anything for your overall look. For example, the lapels on this jacket are quite wide. So if I had a collar that was small and skinny around my neck and I had a gap between my collar and my jacket, like this is what I mean when I talk about collar gap. We do not want any space between our collar and our jacket lapel, okay? We want the jacket to sit on top of the collar. It makes such a difference. It makes everything look fuller, cleaner, and much more dapper. Button in your suit. Never button all the buttons on the front of your suit. If you're wearing a 2-button jacket, always button the top button, leave the bottom one open. If you're wearing a 3-button jacket, the rule is sometimes, always, never. First button sometimes, second button always, last button never. On your suits, you never want to button the last button. Always leave them open so that your jacket can drape open and look much better. And if you're wearing a 1-button suit, then obviously use that button to close your jacket if you want to. But on a 2 and 3, never button the last buttons. I want to talk about ties in relation to your shirt and your jacket, okay? Whatever shirt collar you're wearing, whatever gap you have opening, that is the tie knot you should choose to fit into the gap of the collar, okay? I wouldn't tie a full Windsor knot under the shirt collar because then my collar would start to lift and it would look a little bit weird. If you're wearing a spread collar, then you can go for your half Windsors and your full Windsors knots to take up more of that space that's available under the collar. So whatever your spacing is in between your collar, base that off whatever your tie knot's going to be. The width of your tie should be in relation to the width of your lapels as well. If I had a really skinny tie on with this jacket that has wide lapels, it just wouldn't look right. The jacket and shirt would overpower the tie, and to the untrained eye, they would think something's off, but I can't quite tell what it is. So your tie needs to be in relation to the width of your lapels. So if I had a really wide lapel, I need a classic wide tie to wear under my jacket. If I'm a slim guy and I'm wearing a really slim lapel on my suit, which I don't think you should be doing anyway, 7.5 centimeters lapel is the minimum I would recommend. But if you are wearing a slimmer style, then you can go for a slimmer tie to match in with the proportions of your overall look. Shoes and belts. I can't believe some people still get this wrong. I see so many guys that are wearing black shoes with a brown belt or vice versa. Whatever color your belt is, shoes should be the same. Whatever color your shoes are, belt should be the same. Brings much more harmony into your outfit and makes you look much better. So the last point I want to talk about is your confidence and your comfort, okay? Whenever you're wearing a suit and you're attending an event, may it be for your work, a wedding, a formal event, an awards night, whatever it is, whenever you're wearing a suit, present yourself in a confident way. Even just walking into a room with confidence will make you look so much better. If you stand up tall with your shoulders back and you're dressed the right way, you will stand out from everyone else. It makes such a difference. Please don't be one of these guys that walks around with their shirt untucked and their shirt collar undone and the tie pulled down and the trousers sagging around their arse because they think they're cool. It doesn't make you look cool. It makes you look untidy. It makes you look unkept. And then you imagine if you were at a networking event, what someone would think of you if you were dressed that way. They wouldn't want to approach you. They wouldn't want to do business with you because non-verbally, you are communicating yourself in a way that you don't care. If you don't care about your appearance, what else don't you care about? Do you not care about your family, your work, your health, your love life? So it is these subtle little details that do make such a difference whenever you're wearing a suit and you're attending events. Please stand up tall, act like a gentleman, and take some pride in who you are. This is something you should just do in your day-to-day life anyway. When a suit fits you well, you won't be continuously fussing around with the sleeves, the jacket, the trousers, pulling them up, pulling them down, fixing this, fixing that. If that is something that you're experiencing with your suit, then it's not the correct fit. When you get yourself a suit that fits you well, the proportions are correct, and all the details are met to make you look as good as you possibly can, you feel great whenever you know you look good. And whenever you feel good, automatically you do better because you walk into a room and you own it and you have a different confidence about yourself. That is what I want all of you to feel. This is something that people say to me a lot, just how I wear my suits and how I carry myself. I stand up tall, shoulders back, everything's tidy, I'm well groomed, everything's clean. It's not hard, guys. You have to put a little bit more effort into your appearance. It's not a lot of work to achieve it. So next time you're buying or wearing a suit, keep these 5 things in mind. And if you want help finding your perfect fit and improving your personal style, please subscribe to the channel where I'll be breaking these type of subjects down in more videos to come. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.